cut it off like that.
Yo.
Yeah, you're in there.
I blasted that AC for a little bit because I want to turn off so we don't hear in the background.
Oh yeah, cool it down.
Yeah. So if you get too hot, just let me know. We'll kick it back on.
Gucci, man. We're good. Working gyms is always hot in the gym, so used to it. Yep. What's the word, man? You do the intro?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm A-Flex, and this is
DJ Q.
And this is the Backspin Podcast, episode 10.
That's right, episode 10. 10 episodes. There it is.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
Some kind of milestone.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, here we come.
I definitely feel a lot more comfortable, having done 10 of them now. Like the first one, I wasn't super comfortable. Now it's like,
yeah,
it's easy. It's
easy.
How you feel? You feel the same? Like
it's easy.
It was easy for you from the beginning, though, right?
Yeah, I just don't. It's not. I just don't care for it to be hard.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put it out there. We're just gonna do it.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
We're just gonna do it. Not to say I don't want people to take that the wrong way. I don't want people to think that I don't care. I care, but I guess I should say I didn't overthink it. That's
right.
What I should say.
I think for me, because it's my equipment and stuff, I wanted to make sure that everything worked, that it looked good, and all that kind of stuff. I know we share this, but I felt like it kind of falls on me to make sure that everything is ready to go when it's time to hit record.
I just have the attitude too, there's gonna be hiccups, right? There's gonna be little things that are gonna happen, and we just gotta work through it, and we'll figure it out. You know, we live in this digital age where it's easy to get everything out and do things, but there's gonna be problems. We'll
if there's problems, if it's awful, you won't see this episode.
Right.
It's that simple.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it better on the next one.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit, I guess, earlier in the week about a gig that you had this weekend, and it made me think of some things kind of related to that specific topic. I was just wondering, do you want to introduce it, or do you want me to interview you about this particular?
So we don't
incident?
have to necessarily get into specifics about the incident. What I was thinking about talking about is just around the topic of it, right? Do you feel, and I'll just throw it out there, do you feel like there is and my thing is a sense of racism in nightlife when it comes to this whole idea of not playing a certain type of music, rap music, in clubs and bars and things like that? The reason behind that, in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes, I think, is we want to keep black people out of our establishments. And I think that that's what happens. And the problem I think that we run into is we will DJ these places, and these places haven't set themselves up to get the crowd that they want. So they get the crowd that they get, and then they're chasing their tail by telling the DJ, oh, don't play to that crowd that we just let in the room. Right? So we let all these people in the room that want this music, but we don't want them here. So how we're going to push them out is have you go against the grain and play music that they don't want to hear. And that's what I have a problem with. And I think that, again, the root of that is just if you don't want a certain type of people, whether it's black people, Asian people, whoever people in your venue, that's racism. And I think that we have a real issue with that within nightlife. And I think that there's no safeguards, there's no, protection against any of that, because we don't have, a human resources department when it comes to these bars and clubs. We don't have any type of standards. We got a bar manager that's saying silly stuff to us oh, it's getting a little dark in here, you might want to change the music up. Or we can't play rap music because we want to get rid of the riffraff. We've heard these statements before, and we still hear them, or we get emails that say, you can't play rap music. Well, why can't we play rap music? You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want this certain type of person or this group of people in their establishment. And, for lack of a better word, it's fucked up. So.
Well, in the beginning of that introduction, you asked me a question, which is, do I feel like it exists? Is it happening? And absolutely. and I guarantee you that I experience it to, or I, people talk and say things to me that they probably don't say to you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you're hearing those things, imagine what I've heard
Right.
over the years, and it's awful. I've stopped working places, and I would love to say some names right now, but I'll be cool. I'll chill out and won't cause World War III to pop off. But there's some venues. And there's some people, some promoters and managers and things like that they're very well known in the community. Yeah. They need an ass whooping, and I don't want to go to jail for some stupid shit. So
yeah.
So I've let some things go, and I'm a little ashamed and embarrassed to admit it, but there were some nuances to that conversation that you and I had. Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. It does exist, but I think there's a couple of things that we, I guess, need to be categorized, because not everything is racism. Mm-hmm. And I am in no way defending these racist club promoters, owners, whatever, anything like that. But I think sometimes if you have a venue and you're like, okay, look, we're going to do, we're just going to do house music, or we're just going to do pop music, and that's what we're pushing for. That's the identity, of the place. Then I kind of, it's like, okay, I understand that to a certain degree. Like you're pushing a certain vibe, and I'm cool with that. I'll play along. If you hire me and say, hey man, we want it to be like Black Eyed Peas, Miley Cyrus, sing along for whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, cool. But if I show up several weeks in a row and it's not the Miley Cyrus crowd,
right?
It's the, let's just say, Cardi B, Sexy Red, DaBaby,
right?
Whatever. It's the crowd they want. That's what as a DJ I know is going to make the party jump off. Mm-hmm. That's where it gets a little tricky, because my reputation, I know your club, you want it to be a certain way, but also my reputation's on the line, where people are coming up to me like, man, you suck, you're lame,
right?
You're not doing what we want you to do. You're playing all the wrong music, and I'm sitting there looking like,
right,
shit. So I guess,
and the part of that too is like we're on the front line, right? Like, so the management, the owners, the promoters, they don't deal with that. We do. We have to. Well, go ahead.
Let me just say, that is my go-to statement. Is if it's ever a request that I'm, like, let's say I'm in that situation where I know it's not the right thing to do. You can do this to the bride and groom. You can do it to the club owner, the promoter, and you're like, look, man, I don't take requests unless they come through the management or the promoter or whatever.
Right.
Which it's a little bit of a cop out, but that's where I'm like, look, man, they told me no requests, and if you can get them to come up to me and tell me, hey man, go ahead and play that record, then I'll do it. But they've told me don't take any requests.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, again, like, we're on the front lines of these situations. So when these people come up, or a waitress comes up because they got a table that wants to hear XYZ, we're having these conversations with these people, and it never goes well, right? Like, and especially when they can look around and be like, well, it's all of us in here, and everybody in here wants to hear that. It's different when, like, I think a couple of shows back, I made a comment about, don't go to places that, don't have the vibe that you like. That's different, right? Like you said, like if you got the Miley Cyrus crowd or the Calvin Harris crowd, and you got somebody that comes up, it's like, yo, can you play Boss Man D-Lo? It's like, no, that's not what we're doing, because the people in the room, we've already set this vibe. But if that's not the people, and vice versa, right? Like, so say the vibe is the Boss Man D-Lo vibe, and somebody comes up, hey, can you play Tiesto? It's like, no, that's not what we're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like
or country music.
Or country.
Like, I'll have people come up. I'm doing hip hop and R&B. People come up and ask for country. I'm like,
right.
No, I don't
it's
do
like,
it. And they give you a funny look, but I'm like, man, look around. Like,
right,
why
exactly.
Give me something that's gonna fit with what is going on in the room right now. And usually that second or third request, like, look, man, I hate to tell you no, but no. But if you give me something else that I can play, I will play a song for you. I'm just not gonna play that
Right.
song. And then if they get attitude and they're like, what, blah, blah, and then it's like, okay, we're done here.
Right. The other problem is like, we're the DJs. Yes, we are part of the system that's making this night go. But there's a whole bunch of other parts of this system, or I've heard it, referred to as spokes on the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't leave us out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say, oh, this is what we are, but we're not. You guys aren't doing anything to create that besides telling a DJ to play this type of music. But then you're letting in all the people or inviting all the people or
they're not going to put that on the door guy to make a judgment call. They're not going to go put that
or
on
just to put it out there like this is what we're doing here. Mm-hmm. This is the type of vibe that it is, right? You just are just opening the door and everybody's just coming in, and then you're running kind of like again on the back end and be like, oh man, we got the wrong people in here. You got to play something different. It's like, wait, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, I'm with you 100%, man. So I got a guy at work, Barry. Shouts out to Barry. There was once upon a time me and my girlfriend were button heads a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, let me send you this little article that I read one time that changed my life. And this guy basically wrote, I forget, basically it was like kind of a short story about expectations.
Right.
Unmet expectations, unspoken expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the relationship killer. Mm-hmm. Anytime that I look at, just about any time, I look at relationships that's fallen apart in some way, that's what, and I know this isn't a relationship podcast, but when I applied that to my relationship, our relationship got so much stronger.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. So anytime I feel that strain in a relationship, I'm like, man, hold on. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's re-clarify. Let's reestablish what those expectations are and work from that. And there are situations that there is no remedy. There is no what I want and what you want are not the same thing, and there's no happy medium. There's no meeting in the middle, and that's fine. You have to know when it's time to walk away from those situations.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And that's not to get into all the specifics with me, but that's what it came down to with me. It's like I'm not doing this anymore. You know what I mean? Like. Obviously there's a crowd here. I can play for these people and they can have a great time, but then I'm going to get reprimanded for it. Or I can go against the grain and not play for these people, and then I got to deal with them. It's like, it's a lose-lose. So I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
catch-22.
Right.
There was a period of time at Tin Roof when they didn't want me to play Sexy Red. Did we talk about that before?
Yeah, I was there for that. I remember the no Sexy Red rule.
But have we talked about it on here?
No, I don't think so.
So what was kind of funny, so I remember getting the text message or whatever from the promoter not the promoter, sorry, the booking guy that doesn't even live in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Matt. He's the homie. Actually, I just saw him this past weekend twice. Mm-hmm. And he's the homie. We're straight up with each other. But I guess the manager had asked him to say something to me. Mm-hmm. The whole telephone game sort of thing.
Right.
And this guy, he's like a drummer in a band. He probably has no idea who Sexy Red even is. Like, seriously.
Especially at that point in time.
Somebody asked him to say something, so he's saying it. And so the text messages went out to the resident DJs. And I go up there other times and other days and see the other DJs. I found out I'm the only DJ that's following the no Sexy Red rule.
Right.
So I talked to the manager and I was like, hey man, like, can we figure something out here? Because I feel like on my Sundays I have people coming up to me asking me for music. I'm like, no, I can't do it. And they're like, well, dude played it last night, or dude played it Friday night, or the DJ that was on you before you played it. And so I was like, what do we do here? And he's like, well, what if we do like one or two songs? And just so you know, the No Sexy Red rule was not because there's black people there, because it's all black people. The No Sexy Red thing was because girls were jumping on top of the tables and like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when it's specific like that, like, no Little John, bitch, or
tear the club
tear
up.
the club
Yeah,
up.
you don't want people.
Right, that makes sense. That's an attitude thing. That's not just like an all general. We don't want rap music. Well, why don't you want rap music?
They didn't say no rap music. I mean,
right,
but like. Playing Sexy Red at that time, there was like a month where if you played Sexy Red, you were like
pandemonium.
You were inciting a riot.
Right, right, exactly.
You would have had to have been there. Like I've never experienced a crazy pop from a crowd like that, where like it was
almost, it reminded me of like mid 2000s crunk era, like even like the Pastor Troys, the Lil Johns, and the
I was there
Crime
for that.
Mobs
That would maybe Nuck If You Buck. Nuck If You Buck
was pretty crazy. But even like all those little scrappy records and stuff like that stuff got pretty crazy. So yeah,
but going back to it's expectations, right? Where I talked to them, they're like, okay, look, man, we don't want to say, we want to let you guys, be able to feel free, like just one or two, and like get in and get out of it, and mix it up, sandwich it between a couple other records, but you can't just play 5 Sexy Red songs in a row and they're just
going wild, right?
They're just going wild because what was happening is, people who were at tables and had bottles and had all kinds of stuff, they all get up and start moving about the cabin, moving around the room and whatever. And people were like, food was coming out. So waitresses are bringing out food, or bartenders are bringing people drinks, and they're not at their seat. And they go outside and they're running around the club, and things are happening to where, like, I kind of get it from a business perspective. It's like, don't throw a bunch of chaos into what's already a fairly chaotic situation just on a regular Sunday, because there's oftentimes barely enough staff to keep it going, because
it's like the same idea of like a mosh pit, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to create a mosh pit, and that's totally understandable, because that's not a generalized statement. There is a reason. Like, we don't want to create pandemonium. We don't want people standing on the tables. We don't, because that's what they're gonna do when those records come on.
Clarifying the expectations. What can I do? What can I not do? And I will try and work with you within those parameters. But then again, I know I said this a few minutes ago, but like, if we can't meet somewhere in the middle where everybody's happy, that's how you know it's time to part ways.
Yeah, because the thing is like, the no rap music thing, or if you're trying to be, we've been around forever. There's been house clubs. We've DJed at house clubs like Shiver back in the day. That's what they did. And everybody that went to Shiver knew that it was EDM, it was house, because that's what they did. That's what they promoted themselves as. When you don't promote yourself as something that you're trying to be, and you're just, all right, we're just going to let the general public in, and, rap music is huge. And then you're downtown St. Louis, like PBR is a good example of the other side. Like, what you're getting when you go to PBR. If you're going to PBR and you think that it's not going to be this, you think it's not a country bar, then that's on you, because you're just,
there's like a bull in the middle of the club, one of those
right. Yeah, they got a mechanical bull. Everybody's got cowboy hats and chaps on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they have done their due diligence on their side. So no DJ that plays there, no one that attends the place, what's going on in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Here's another thing to kind of throw in that has to do with it. Some of the best advice I ever got as a DJ when it comes to this is, you're not married to these clubs.
100%.
Don't get married to these clubs, because there's going to come a time when you got to part ways. Yeah. And the more that you come to terms with that, if you hang on to it, if you just clench on to these gigs, like, you know, they they matter so much, and that your DJ career is going to be over if you no longer get to DJ at Club X anymore.
Right.
Man,
Yeah, you gotta let that go.
You got to let that go,
Yeah.
because being somewhere long, even if you're a resident DJ, if you're a resident DJ and you're a resident longer than a year, that's an anomaly. That is crazy.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere 5 years, that's almost unheard of. Like, I would almost call that impossible. The fact that I've actually had residencies that long is crazy. But I think the reason why I'm able to hang on to residencies for as long as I have is because I do play the game. I will try to work with the promoters and club managers and stuff like that, and go, okay, look, man, where's the line? Because you want me to rock this crowd. You get all happy when it's a good night and everybody's dancing, all the good looking girls are there, and you sell a bunch of liquor. But you don't want me to cross this line. Cool, but I need to ride that line in order to create enough excitement in the room for people to want to come back week after week after week.
Well, also the club's got to do their part. Everybody else, the bartender, the promoter, the door guy, the marketing team, whatever, they got to do their part to set you up, right? Like, what happens in these situations is all the onus gets put on the DJ to be like, all right, well, you're the DJ, then you play this music, and that's going to create X, Y, Z, and that's not how it works, So, and they go back to what you said about like not being married to a club, 100%. Like, you are who you are. Like, me being DJ Q is not DJ Q of whatever. Is that I'm just me. I'm the brand, I'm the product, and you're subcontracted to wherever you go. So even if you're there for 5 years, still don't look at that situation like, oh man, keep your eyes open,
keep your options open.
And you want to move around. You want to do different things. You want to be involved in different situations because it's different experiences and opens you up for, new things.
Yeah,
but
you don't want stagnation.
But again, these clubs got to do their part to help you help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, again, it just comes like, oh, we just put all the onus on the DJ.
Yes, I hear what you're saying, but that's very much like seen and said through a DJ lens. Like, a lot of places that I have worked, I feel like there is more synergy and more synchronicity between everybody. Like, we don't see what the bartenders go through. They go through a lot of abuse. It is a stressful situation. Same thing with security, and every place is different. 100%. But it is, I feel like it is a team sport. You do play your position. What I think you're kind of referring to a little bit more, and I might be wrong, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is more the expectations of the owner, club promoter, and the DJ. I think
everybody involved, right? The management, the promoter, the owners. Sometimes the owners aren't involved, right? Like in the situation we're talking about, the owners aren't involved, but management's involved. And management definitely, in this situation, there is no promoter. So it's just management, and then there's everybody that's underneath the management umbrella, right? So whether it's your bar, or your director, then your bar manager, then your bartenders, your security staff, your bar backs, everybody else is involved in the situation. But when there's no promoter and there's just a manager, it's up to that man. You're the marketing team. You're the one who sets the expectation of what this is.
Yeah.
Not just telling the DJ, don't play this or don't play that. So you have to put it out there like, okay, if you're going to tell the DJ, like, this is what the vibe that we want is, that's fine. We want this vibe. Okay, cool. Well, what else are you doing to create this vibe besides telling me about music?
That was going to be my point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's what's not happening at this venue, right? What's happening at this venue is we're going to tell the DJ to play, to not really what to play, but to what not to play. But we're not going to do anything else to create.
Let me ask you something. Is this a restaurant?
Uh, no, it's like a lounge.
Lounge?
Yeah.
Do they have food?
Well, yeah.
So I think something that happens is restaurants run like restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
They don't run like clubs.
Yeah, but that's an excuse though. That's an excuse. Like if you're a restaurant slash lounge slash bar, and you're running after 10 o'clock into nightlife, if you can't manage that, you got to hire somebody else that can.
You have to be able to take off your restaurant hat and put on your club hat.
Exactly. You can't be, oh, we're a restaurant, we don't know how to deal with that. Find somebody that does then.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, but that's often what happens. We need somebody to run the establishment that has food, that also does nightlife, and they hire people that are, food and restaurant
food and beverage directors.
And they don't necessarily have the experience and know how to run the machine, the nightlife machine. And they don't know that they have to set the expectations, and with the marketing and promotion and stuff like that, saying, hey, if you're coming, this is lounge vibes, expect, jazzy house fusion, whatever you want to, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And you put that on your social media. You also put that on the door. People are walking in and they hear, boots and cats whenever they're walking in. Yeah. And they're like, okay, this is what it is, know. And they go, hey man, so what's going on? It sounds like, is it house music tonight? And the barman goes, yep, you guys have a good time. It's going to be house music tonight. They get to decide whether or not they want to walk in the door,
right?
But don't the people at the door probably should introduce and go, hey guys, just so we're all on the same page, it's going to be housey club vibes tonight,
Right.
That would help to kind of like set the expectation. But if the door guy's like, look, man, about 11, 12 o'clock, it's really going to turn up in here. That's telling a whole different story.
Or just not saying anything at all, right? Not saying anything at all, not giving, like you said, not setting expectations. And that's what's happening is no one, as far as the other staff, is putting it out there in a way like, okay, this is what this is. No one is.
Well, it is ultimately going to bite them. I don't know. It could go one way or another, right? But it could bite them in the ass where it's like,
right,
if you don't allow the DJ to read the room and create the energy and the excitement that make people want to come back the next week, it's why even have a DJ? Why not just turn on a Spotify playlist?
Exactly. Like, what's the point? And I get it. Like, there's a lot of DJs out there that will do these gigs just to get the paycheck. And they don't care because, they'll get the paycheck. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can be a paycheck DJ or you can, that won't do anything for you as a DJ just to be a paycheck DJ.
And I've heard from people that manage venues that they kind of do what you're talking about. And they're like, man, we can't get any good DJs in here. And I'm like, yeah, because all the DJs that are coming in there that are willing to agree to your terms, those are all DJs that are they'll basically simp out for a paycheck.
Right.
So, yeah, they're just like, all right, I'm going to show up and make my little $300, $400, whatever it's going to be, and I'm going to go home. And I don't really care. I don't care about the gig. I don't care about the crowd. I don't care about anything except for making my money.
Right.
And so, and I guess because I'm a fan of DJing and I want DJs to make money and be successful, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm not gonna hate on anybody for making some money, get the bag, whatever. I don't care. But you also can't really complain to me that you just took anybody that was willing to do your format versus you doing the research and being like, I'm going to go find the perfect DJ to curate the sets for my Friday nights or my Saturday nights.
Or trusting your DJ, right? Like trusting the DJ to, let's just go back to your Sexy Red example, right? Say you got a crew of people in there and we're under the no Sexy Red rule, but it's slow, got a couple groups here and there. They're chill. Should that management trust you to be able to play Sexy Red and be okay. I think so.
So hold on a second, because I don't necessarily agree with you 100% on this too. We talked about this before, where it's tricky. That one, like before, I think that there's nuance to that because it kind of depends what the song is, what the energy of the room is, what the expectation of the club is. You can't just say because there's not a lot of people there, then gloves off, I can do whatever I want to do. I don't think it's quite that black and white. I think you still have to go, okay, look, I can't turn all the way up, but meet me somewhere in the middle. Maybe I'll play a hip hop record or two, but it's got to be like a fun throwback or something.
I mean, I don't know. I think that, again, trusting your DJ to read the room, like you said, assess the situation to be like, okay, these people I got in here want to hear this song. I know I'm not going to have any issues if I play this song.
Hold on, let's add one more element. Okay. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it wasn't even the crowd that asked you, right? It was the waitress that wanted to make a tip.
Right. So the table asked the waitress, and so they were talking to the waitress. So the waitress came to me, right? So, and the waitress knew.
Yeah, that's another if she thing, could keep you people, have to that switches up the answer a little bit when you have the staff,
right? Yeah,
coming up to you.
Well, that goes back to what I'm saying. Like the staff doesn't know that. Okay, if this is if you're the manager, the director, or whatever, and you set this expectation of this is what I want this venue to be. Why does your staff not know that? So your staff should have been like at that moment when because I would have never known, right? I would have just kept doing what I was doing. If the staff knows, okay, yeah, we can't do that here. Yeah. Like it's got to be like this. Then the situation would have never would have got to where it got, right? But the staff isn't on the same page, right? That's the manager's fault. Not my fault. Not my job to talk to the staff. It's the manager's job to talk to the staff, right? So, but again, like, and just to separate that, again, like looking around the room, okay, I'm a seasoned DJ, or you're a seasoned DJ. I got a few people in here. It's getting close to closing time. I've held them off. They want to hear these couple records. They'll be cool. No one's going to jump off and fight or dance on tables or whatever, right? You should be able to play those records and be okay. Now, the situation like with you, like with the Sexy Red, yes, it's the pandemonium. So it's like it's a packed house. They're charged up. And then, excuse me, they're charged up. And then you play the Sexy Red. You just taking them over the edge and taking them to the point where now the club is under duress.
Yeah, you threw gas on the flame.
Right. Whereas, the other situation is everybody's going to be fine. Right. And it's not the fact that, okay, next week when you come in, if more people are in there, man, that cough made me up my eyes water. More people are going to be in there. You'll be able to assess the situation because, again, it's open format, right? Like, so it's, okay, who's in here? Or you look around the room. We've been DJing long enough. Part of DJing is psychology, looking at personalities. You got some tough looking dudes in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some tough looking people in the room. All right, I'm not gonna gas them up. You know?
Yeah.
But if it's just a few people here, some chicks and maybe a couple guys, and everybody's chilling, everybody's cool. All right, what's the problem?
I had a request Sunday, kind of shifting around a little bit, where I did take the request. It was a Nicki Minaj song, and I forget what the name of the song was, but I didn't know it. But of course, I've got Beat Source, and it had already kind of died down. Like, I still kind of had the crowd, but it was like 1/3 of what it was an hour or two before that.
Right.
But they're still partying, having a good time. This girl comes up. She's like, "Hey, it's my birthday. Can you play this Nicki Minaj record, and I'm like, ooh, a Nicki Minaj record that I don't know.
You know which one it was?
No, I could look it up or whatever, but might have been a mixtape joint. Sounded like it was a mixtape joint.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, cool. I played it, and I remember, like, I'm up on stage now, and I could see, and there's not a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that were there were dancing and grooving. As soon as I played this Nicki Minaj record, dirty looks. Everybody's just looking like, what is this? Why would you play this record? Like, we've loved every record.
Dirty looks from the crowd or from
dirty
the,
looks
like,
from
staff?
the crowd. No, from the crowd. And it was kind of this weird thing. I know I'm kind of flipping it to you a different way, but you know, when you take requests, this is gonna be this is an A-Flex exclusive. I am not taking any requests unless I know that record and I know what that record is going to do when I play it.
Right.
And I'm okay with whatever's going to happen. You know, no more curveballs.
Did you listen to it in the headphones before you played it?
Maybe like 5 seconds of it. And I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I went against my own instinct and I went ahead and played it. And immediately regretted it. And I was just like, man, Alex, why'd you do that? You know better. And I, you know, of course, it's weird how we have to learn these lessons over and over. Like, I knew better than to do that.
Right.
But I wanted to be cool. I wanted them to like me. I was hoping that, you know, that would make her feel better about her birthday. She had already had a good birthday. She was drunk and ready to go home. But she's like, let me just go talk to the DJ and get one last request in. That's the song I listened to in my car. And it because I didn't want to be the bad guy. I didn't want to say no. I went ahead and did it. But as I'm looking around the room after I did, I was like, man, why did I do that? That was stupid.
Well, to say that too is like it was one song. You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna change.
Yeah, it was a reminder to myself, like, oh yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, or you just know, like, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to fall on your face to learn, like, all right, that record sucks. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't know everything, especially this day and age, right, where there's so much music. You got to, like, grab your balls and throw some shit out there sometimes.
Kinda. I play so much throwback music, though. Like, I know, you know, as I'm gathering music, I'm more so gathering old music than I am gathering new music.
Yeah, stuff you already know. Yeah, I mean, playing different venues like I do, like, there's been records that I've played, whether it's, you know, hip-hop or EDM or pop or whatever, and I've played them, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't playing that again. Like,
oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't go well. Or it might just be, I just don't like it.
But
like,
it works the opposite way, though, because we talked a couple episodes ago about me playing the rock music. So the lady kept tipping me $30 each request.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were going crazy. And I was like, man, I would have never thought to play these records.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's tricky. Like,
you kind of, again, like, that's where, you know, that's this whole thing about, like, DJing. And it's weird, and I've talked about this before, about how people don't have respect for what we do. And this is another issue that I have with this management of this establishment, is they don't have respect for me as a DJ, because they, you know, we read the room, we see what's going on, we make adjustments on the fly constantly, you know, and like you said too, like, you hire these DJs that are either just paycheck DJs or inexperienced. Yeah, they don't know how to control themselves. We do. So if I decide to play a certain record, whatever it is, like, obviously I've looked at the situation and I'm like, all right, we're good. We'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not me just, you know, not understanding what's happening. And it's, you know, that's a part of being an experienced DJ. And that's why, like, you know, there are the Jazzy Jeffs of the world, because he has mastered that, you know, along with the scratching, along with this. And, like, we talk about being a selector. A lot of people like to throw that word out there, like, oh, I'm a selector. Are you really? Like, because, you know, you can just call yourself that because you don't scratch. But there's a lot going on with being a selector, or being, you know, playing the right songs or picking songs. Like, there's so much more to it. You know, the psychology of the room and all these nuancy things that are going on. that folks don't trust us, that should trust us to make these decisions. That's why you hire us. That's why you pay us what you pay us. That's why we're asking you to pay us what we want to get paid, because we're not just up there just randomly just picking a song and playing it. No, we're playing certain songs at certain times because of certain situations that are happening in the room, right? Like, so it's just so much more to it. And that lack of respect for what we do as an occupation, or, you know, us being creatives, is this, it's crazy. You know, so that's another thing where when these managers, these promoters are like basically saying, just go up there and be a Spotify DJ. Like, that's not what I do. You know, like that's just, you know.
So, yeah, I hear you. I'm with you, and I'm of course I'm always going to be team DJ. I do always try to see it through the other person's lens. But I think that's like back to what I was saying a second ago. I think it's establishing expectations. I wanted to say something real quick, and I want to pivot to another topic here, because we're like 40 minutes in.
All right,
But throw it in the comments. Like, if you've been in this situation before, how do you handle the situation where what you think is best for the club and best for the crowd versus or when that conflicts with what the management or the promoter or whatever wants you to do? Like, what do you do in that situation? What trumps? You know, is it, hey, I want to come back, I want to keep making this money, or is it your own personal brand and how your performance, that is not your best performance because you're not doing what's right for the crowd, might reflect your reputation?
Yeah, because, you know, like, not to keep it going, but, like, you know, we've had conversations with DJs, like, when people leave and the music isn't good or they don't like the music, they say the DJ sucked. Like, flat out. That's
Right.
what people say. The DJ sucked. And people will go out of their way. Who is the DJ? Just like people will go out of their way to find out who we are if we're doing great, people will go out of their way to find out who we are if we're doing not what they want.
Imagine you go to a burger place, you know, or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we boil our burgers.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is terrible.
Like, wait, what?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's going to reflect poorly on that place. It's like, well, we came here expecting like grilled or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, sorry. We know that you like grilled, but we're going to boil them for you.
Right.
So I said I was going to switch up topics. And
Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
I'm just going to keep moving. So it's been almost a week since we started the Daily Scratch Challenge group. It's a on Instagram. It's a private group. It's a group chat, really.
Yeah.
Where each day the members practice scratching, and I know not everybody gets to do it every single day because people have crazy busy lives, but as much as they can, as much as time allows, they try and get 20, 30 minutes, maybe even more practice in per day, and you just post a short little clip, maybe 20 seconds. Most of the videos seem like they're right about a minute, in hopes that over the course of a month, 60 days, 90 days, or whatever, like, you start to see some real measurable progress. And there's like a community to it, to where if you want constructive criticism, it's there. If you want encouragement, if you want things to work on, you can ask and say, hey, man, what should I work on this week? Okay, we'll work on chirp scratches. You are in this group. I'm in this group. Chris Brown is in the group. But I think there's about 10 or 12 of us now, and most of which are pretty active. I guess so that was kind of introduction to what we're doing. We talked about, first of all, we talked about it last week when we actually followed through and started the group, and we're doing it, and it's been a week, and seems like people really like it. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think about this, where it's going, what it's turning into?
I think it's dope. Like, and it's what, our community needs so we can move forward. I think that, to rewind, St. Louis was known for some killer DJs for a long time. I don't know if we're known for that anymore. I think some other cities have kind of picked up the torch and ran with it. Whether it be Kansas City, they're just doing more as a DJ community than St. Louis is. And I think that this is the start of us getting back on the train where I felt like before we were doing more as a community. We were, the killers. And now, they've just kind of banded together and done more stuff like this. But I think it's dope. I think that, like we talked about before, for everybody that's in the group, use it as a practice log. Okay, like it's not, set for, there's no expectation of you to do anything specific besides practice the craft and take a short little clip of you practicing the craft and put it in there just so you stay accountable to practicing the craft on a regular basis, because that's the only way that you're going to get better. I think that this all came from us being veteran DJs, and a lot of DJs come to us, man, I really want to get better at scratching. Mm-hmm. Man, I really want to learn how to beat juggle or back-to-backs or double-ups or get better at this. We've heard these statements come our way. If we had a nickel for every time someone said that, to you or me, we might not be doing this podcast right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is your opportunity to do that. We're giving you the platform to practice. And,
and there's privacy to it too, where it's, this is not you posting publicly. This is private to the group.
Right.
And I think turning on that camera adds an element, like there's another person in the room or whatever. Like if you know that you're recording and putting something out, like I even catch myself, like I'll record 60 seconds. I'm like, ooh, I didn't like that. Let me do it again.
Right.
And I do it again and I do it again. And I try to like sharpen it up. Now I'm not quite a perfectionist with it, but once I get a pretty good one, but I've definitely taken several takes, which adds several minutes onto my practice time. But it also prepares you for what are you going to do if the camera comes on? Are you going to freeze up?
Or just live,
Or you're playing live and somebody comes up and stands next to you while you're doing back-to-backs or scratches or whatever it might be. What's going to happen when you're performing and the cameras come out? Like I think practicing that way and challenging yourself to do that. There's also the element of kind of community. Like I would love to go over to KUE's house or Chris Brown's house and practice every day. Schedules don't allow for that. But this is basically the same thing where like, we're virtually having like a DJ meetup each day where, hey, we can talk. And I know there's a couple of guys that are kind of saying things like, I know this isn't the best, or I know it's not the cleanest or whatever. Like neither is mine.
That's not the purpose of it, and that's the whole point. Like it's not to be like to put your finished product out. Right. It's just an accountability log. That's all it is. Yeah. To say that,
and it's gonna get cleaner and cleaner every day. At the end of the month, your stuff it's all gonna be sharp. But it's also reminding me of ideas. I love how there's this thing happening where you post doing a back-to-back routine or something. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll do a back-to-back routine. And then Chris Brown does a back-to-back routine. And then, and it goes on down the line that way.
Right.
Where you use this beat. I'm going to use that beat. Cool. All right. There's that aspect of it where it's fun. It's like I said, it's a little community. It's a little, but again, it's another thing where I could sit down and watch TV today. But did I put the practice in and did I put the video up? You're kind of committing to people that you are. It's like I said, it's a social contract that you are gonna, you're gonna check in each day and say, hey, all right, cool, I'm doing my time, and that I think that's how. If you only do things when you feel great and you got all the time in the world, like, you're gonna practice. You're not gonna get much practice in. You gotta practice on the days that you don't feel that great, or that you're tired, or that you're busy, or whatever. It's like, what do you want? What do you want to be great at?
Right.
Okay. And hopefully it's DJing. If you've made it this far in the podcast, you're probably pretty passionate about DJing, be great. Be great. And this is what it takes to be great. Not necessarily being in this group, but like being committed to progressing. It's small increments over a long period of time. If you get 1% better each week, at the end of the year, that really adds up. That really adds up, and it's going to be a noticeable difference. And I've done that. Q's done that. We came from an era, especially in the vinyl era, there was no room to be lazy. Like, you had to work on it every day because you had to keep that finesse sharp on the wheels. And so it's probably a little bit easier for us to, like, with muscle memory, to turn that part of our brain on, to turn that part of our drive, whatever you want to call it. Psychologically, we're already built that way. Newer DJs may not understand that aspect of it because the barrier of entry was low. The learning curve was fast. And
getting the gigs, I think that's the big difference. Is the vinyl era days, like, you had to be good at playing.
Yeah, and I'm not throwing shade at new DJs
right
at all.
It's not. It's just the way it's just the way of the world.
I'm just saying it's probably easier for us to go, I'm going to practice every damn day, because you used to have to do that.
You had to be good at mixing records because there wasn't a shortcut. There
wasn't a loop feature.
There wasn't a loop. There wasn't a hot cue. There wasn't
heat sync.
There wasn't sync. There wasn't software. Like, you had to have the records. You had to go hunt them down. You had to understand how to mix them. Like, there was a lot of moving parts to the situation that you had to master and get good at. Whether it was just like making sure you didn't bump the tone arm when you were trying to reach for the pitch control, or things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like. So, like, now, with the technology, and technology is awesome. Me, I'm a big advocate of the technology, but it definitely drops the barrier entry down. But then at the same token, you can get in the game and get gigs, but are you the DJ that you want to be? Like, that's the question that we're asking and, posing to you. Like, if you want to be better, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is how, we were kind of, in a sense, forced because there was no option, because we just weren't going to get the gigs.
Yeah.
Like, you had to be good just to get the gigs. Now you can get the gigs without being that good. Right. But if that's all you want to be, okay, cool. Right. You don't have to be a part of this, but if you're thinking to yourself, like, man, I got the gig, but I want to be able to do more at the gig. I want to scratch. I want to figure out some different pieces of the technology and do some cool shit. Like, this is what it takes.
What I also want you to keep in mind too is, like, however you're feeling, that's how we're feeling too. Like, you're comparing yourself to, you watch, let's just say, Scratch Bastard on a video, and you're like, man, I'm never going to be that good, or maybe, how do I get that good? Well, this is it. Yep. But I feel the same way. I see Scratch Bastard, and I feel the same way. I might be a little bit closer because I've already put in hundreds of hours, or whatever it ends up being. You're going to get there in 100 hours. And one of the things that I think about, I'm in martial arts, no secret here. So I've watched guys that started after me get better than me, because they put in more hours. They came in more days than I did, or they're doing twice a days, or whatever it is, or it's the things that they're doing outside of the outside of training at the gym. They're running, they're eating right, they're stretching, they're doing all the working breathing exercises, whatever it might be. And I'm watching these people get way farther in jiu-jitsu than me. I've watched DJs do the same thing. I've watched DJs put in the hours, and you can either sit there and be a bitter old DJ and go, oh man, well, it's only like that because he's young and he's got all this time. You can make all those excuses, or you can wake up a little bit earlier, stay up a little bit later, use your lunch break. Something to put in the work, put in the hours that, and if you do it consistently over a longer period of time, you're going to catch up. You're going to pass up veteran DJs. You know, it's not a stretch of the imagination to think that you could be, you know, there's a lot of people at the mid-level. There's not a lot of people at the very top. And I think the difference between the mid-level and the people at the top are they are not scared to take advantage of everything that they can, utilize every resource to get there. They know that they want to get to the top. They believe in themselves. So they post the videos, or they link up in the groups, or they, you know, whatever it takes, they are going to do. They're not going to leave a stone unturned. They're going to take advantage of everything that they can. And I'm sorry, you know, I know I kind of sound like a motivational speaker right now,
right.
But
no, you're Tony Robbins right now.
I'm Tony Robbins, but I do truly believe this. And even me, who is kind of in the twilight of my career, I'm starting to get a little reinvigorated and go, wait a minute, maybe I haven't, I'm not at the end of the road. So I don't know. That's my food for thought.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like everything you said is 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just whether it is anything you want to do. Like that's how you get better at it. You got to put the time in, and you know we can sit and talk about the time, or you could sit up here and tell me you want to get better at scratching, or you can sit up here and tell me you want to enter a battle, or you can sit up here and tell me that you want to DJ this or that, but that ain't gonna get you nowhere. You know, like
no, just talking about it. You gotta be about it.
You gotta do it.
Show me. Join the group. Join the group.
Yeah, join
and
the
show
group.
me each day.
Then,
but don't just show me. You're showing everybody in the group. This is not Alex's group.
Well, you know, the other part is, you know, are you showing us? Yeah, but you're showing yourself too.
Yes.
Like that's the big thing.
That's the most important.
Because at the end of the day, you're not doing it for us. You're doing it for you. You know, because you're the one that wants to get better at whatever it is you want to get better at. Like, you know, when I decided to get back into battling and I wanted to, you know, learn, get better at beat juggling, like that's what I did, man. I practiced. I found like videos and video after video after video of beat juggles and learned the patterns and sat down and broke them down like hours on hours on hours. That's what I did. And it all came together at some point. You know, I don't remember how long it took, but it took some time. It took some time to learn this piece, learn that piece, learn this piece, learn that piece. And then it was like, all right, let's put it all together. Let's put this puzzle together. But it just takes time. But then it really wasn't for anybody else. It was for me. I wanted to learn beat juggling. And then, you know, you get this whole, oh, well, beat juggling doesn't do anything for me to do this. Like, no, I don't beat juggle at any gigs. I just wanted to be able to do it.
Right.
You know, so it was just for me.
Yeah. It's you can do that. You can do it all by yourself. But I think it's more fun to do it as a little community. We just didn't have the resources that we've got now. We don't, you know, we didn't have
pre-Instagram
and camera phones,
right?
And,
camera phones, like really,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, before the iRig.
Imagine us having the motivation that we did back then, and the drive and whatever, and having all the resources that we have,
or just the ability to record things. And obviously, like you could always record things, like, you know, at a GoPro or whatever. But the ease of recording now with a phone and just posting it to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever, that just wasn't even a thing at that point in time. So, you know, a lot of it was just figuring it out on my own. But now you have this, like you said, this resource to do it. And then you got other people. Like, again, I was on my own journey trying to figure out how to beat juggle. Like, we're setting it up so, like, yeah, you might be on your own journey about this scratch, but then you're seeing all these other DJs that are on the same journey that you're on. Yeah. You know, whether they're trying to figure out this or that.
And I know it's the scratch challenge, but we've already started working on other things other than that, and there's more to come. Like, this is the first 30 days. Actually, we're in the first week, but, you know, I'm thinking 30 days. But what if we start putting together routines? You know, like each week, let's put together a minute, you know, so every day you practice, but you're practicing towards building 1 minute of material. And then you do that each week over a month. You have 5 minutes of material. If somebody ever calls you out, you're battle ready. You got 5 minutes, sharpen
6 minutes
steel.
for DMC. 6 minutes.
So
you need a 2 minute for the prelim. You need a 6 minute if you make it to the finals.
So I don't know what this is our group, of course. So like if you have, constructive criticism, also if you want to join, hit up me, hit up KUE. Like we'll get you an invite.
Yeah.
There's one stipulation though for new joinees, new members, new joinees. I think I just made up a word.
Yeah.
You got to post the first day. We let you in. Yeah. You got to be like, you're like,
and you got to post. You got to be active. I think that being active on a regular basis is even more important than that, because that's the whole purpose, right?
Yep.
It isn't be a fly on the wall. It isn't, to check out what everybody else is doing. You know?
But sometimes people, I think if they join a group that things are already in the swing of things, they get quiet and they start scrolling through and looking what everybody else does. And they go, well, my stuff may not be this good, so let me practice for a couple of days before I post anything or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going through the mind. I'm just speculating here. But yeah, so that's going to be the stipulation is like, hey, day one, you're posting.
No matter what. I mean, no matter how you feel about whatever it is you're doing, maybe you're just at a level where you're just mixing two records together.
Right.
It's fine.
But you gotta pull the Band-Aid off, and you'll see once you post that first one thing, you're like, oh, okay, like the world didn't blow up or everybody didn't make fun of me or whatever the thing is. Everybody's like, hell yeah, dude, cool. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what skill level you're at. We are all there to
It's like a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
It's like a no judgment zone. Right?
I invited deception in there. You'd think, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's always going to be somebody that is, more experienced or whatever. So don't let that intimidate you. Don't let that keep you from taking part and taking advantage of this a group that we've got started.
100%. Like I said, no judgment zone. Like just post something.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be on you, and you'll get better.
Yeah. So I think we're probably getting pretty close to an hour. Did you have
No, I'm good, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Your time and participation. You could have listened to a lot of podcasts, but you listen to our little Backspin podcast, and we are very grateful for that. Like and subscribe, follow us on the social medias, and join our little group of scratchers. Reach out to me or reach out to KUE or reach out to Chris Brown. We'll get you an invite. And you got any gigs coming up this weekend?
Yeah, this Saturday I'm at the art bar at the On God Hotel downtown.
Been meaning to make it out there.
Yeah, it's pretty
swanky
cool.
Little spot.
You know what you need to do is take your chick there and spend the night, because they got the different colored rooms and stuff. It's pretty swanky in there.
Yeah, I got a birthday coming up. Maybe that's
there. You go.
We'll throw that in the mix. I got a couple little things I've been wanting to.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope spot.
Wanting to do so. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be there Saturday night.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And as always, I will be at Tin Roof on Sunday. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Friday, but I did Friday night at Tin Roof
that's right.
Week.
Yeah, you opened at 10. Yeah.
Literally nothing to tell.
Right. It's crazy to me.
Doing they get a late crowd in there, so it was really cool seeing some people and getting to open up for decks, and we got to chop it up and got to see my buddy Brian and Matt and a few familiar faces came through, so that was kind of cool. But and I just, even if there wasn't a big crowd there, I'm an opening DJ now on the weekends. I can't do them 3-4 o'clock. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I haven't DJ till 3 a.m. in a hot minute either.
Whoa.
Actually, I will though coming up. I'm doing Europe with Stuart in a couple weeks, so that's till 3. So I gotta get my mind right for that.
Yeah, get your rest up.
Right.
All right, y'all.
All right, folks.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Peace.